Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be a standalone tutorial apart from the Melee system tutorials, but if you are doing the Melee tutorials, you will need this fix, or you may want this fix. But if you don't even have Melee system or don't want to use it or nothing, this is a fix that you'll need for normal weapons, shooting guns and stuff like that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the third person character's animation blueprint, which is right here. Open it up. And all of this stuff is correct, it just needs to be arranged a little differently. So what we're going to do is adjust some of these offsets to make the animations play in the direction that you're actually looking. Alright, it'll make more sense when you see it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy over what we need. So we're going to move, not copy, but we're going to move everything that we're going to be using over here. So we want locomotion and base movement. We want the jump. Let's just disconnect it and move it over here. Okay, let's see, what else do we need? We need to cache it. So basically what the jump is, it's everything from locomotion plus jumping. So let's just cache this by typing cache, save it as a new, and we'll call it all loco cache. So this will be all locomotion. Okay. Now that we have all the locomotion, we need to put that into a slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in, right click and type in slot. I thought you type in slot. Maybe not. Sometimes. There it is. Slot, default slot. Click it, and we want to hit the drop down and put upper body. And we're going to right click and type in all loco cache. So basically we're going to have a new cache here. We'll call this cache, and we'll call it upper body cache. That'll work. So now we have movement without a slot, and then we have the same movement with a slot. This one's going to be used for playing animations above. This one's for normal. Alright. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the logic into these layered blend per bones. So what we can do is just take our logic that's already here and copy it. So take the layered blend per bone, copy that, move over here, paste it. With this selected, come over here to layer setup, hit these little drop down arrows until you get down here, and it says blend depth. We want this to be 1, and mesh space rotation, check the box to true. Okay. Now we have this. We want to add in a couple of our caches, so we're going to do all locomotion into the base pose. Upper body is going to go into this. Okay. So we'll type in all locomotion cache. That'll go into base, and then upper body body cache, and we will need to come back over here and let's just copy these two anim offsets here. Copy both, bring them back over here, paste. We'll do the first one, the mannequin aim offset, which is just like the hip, aiming from the hips. So let's plug in that to here and here. And then we need the blend per bull that's over here. Blend poses by bull. No, not that one. Where is it? This one is aiming blend poses by bull. Copy that. Paste it over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say if aiming is false, which goes into that one. This goes down here. And then let me make sure you get a look at that. Going a little fast, sorry. Alright, so we're basically going to copy this and this. Copy, paste, And we're going to do the same thing with the iron sight. So the upper body cache goes into it. We need a pitch variable. Goes into there. It's down out of the way so you can see. All locomotion goes into true. Iron sights goes... Oh, no, that's not the right one. We're missing a blend per bone. Copy this layered blend per bone. Paste it up here. Get rid of this comment so you can actually see. Okay, now you should be able to see. So, all locomotion, base, aim offset, blend. Connect that into the true on the is aiming. And I believe we gotta do one more thing though. We gotta paste in the this part, yeah. So the part that actually makes your hand stick to the gun, the part that's under the barrel, it's over here under this commented section. So let's just copy this. We don't need this one, so just copy these three. Copy, paste, connect them up. And then plug that into true. Alrighty, so then we got that. And we have our animation offsets going here. And how do we finish this off? Now that we have that, we cache it as the rifle pose cache. So let's do that. So off of this is aiming boolean. Cache it. Rifle pose cache. And then with that, we're going to do the last part, which is the is downed and the weapon anim enum. Easy enough. So let's do that. Let's go back over here. There's a boolean over here called is downed. Let's copy that and move the output over here as well. Okay, so if you're downed, we just want the stunned loop true, unless you're using a like your own state machine for crawling animations and stuff like that, then you would plug that in here. But I'm just going to use the stunned loop because it's just that one animation that plays when you go down. The faults is going to be the blend poses based on the weapon anim enum. Where am I at? There it is. Okay. And if your weapon type is default, we're just going to use the rifle pose cache. Rifle pose cache. That'll go into default. It'll also go into rifle. And just if you didn't know, you can right click this and you can add more pins such as unarmed, or you can remove these if you're not using them, because I'm not using them right now. We will come back to this in a later tutorial when I show you how to add the sword one. It's easy, you just right click and come down here and click sword after we've added it to the weapon anim enum. Alright, so that should give you the poses. Now we have to plug it into the final result here. Compile. Now we have our character, and I believe that's all we have to do for that. Now, let's go into the animation for shooting, and the easiest way to get to that is through the data table probably. I don't feel like hunting for it. So in the starting rifle, we want to find the shooting animation. So fire animation is here. Fire rifle hit montage. Let's open it up. He's still got his sword in his hand. Let's just take that off. Remove attached actors. Alright, so well, didn't save. There we go. Alright, so see, that's what it's supposed to play when you shoot, when you're shooting your gun. And it's not, so it is, but it's not showing up right. So you have to look down here in the blend options, the blend in and blend out, and I believe it's what value? I think it was like 0.16 is what looked the best for me. To me, I mean, you can tweak these all you want. Those are the blend values, and then when we go into the game, let's see. You can see his arm is actually moving now. You can see his animation. His elbow, look at it, like his elbow or his hand holding the gun. Alright, but now we run into another problem that I never considered, is when you aim, you shoot, your gun looks like that. Nobody wants that. So what we need is another animation, a separate animation for aiming down the sights, fire animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Weapon Info Structure, which you should be familiar by now if you've been following along my Melee tutorials. Add a new variable, scroll all the way down to the bottom. We're going to call this ADS Weapon Fire Anim. ADS is aimed down sights, Weapon Fire Anim. And it's going to be an animation montage. So anim montage. And we want to save it. And in the third person character, we're going to make a new variable. And that variable is going to be called CW ADS Weapon Fire Anim. And the variable type is anim montage. And the replication is set to replicated. Alright. And then we have to set that variable inside of both set active weapon variables function and the server set active weapon variables function. So let's set this. Hold shift, double click, scroll all the way up here. Hold shift, double click. Do the same for server. Drop it in, set it. Hold shift, double click. Scroll up, hold shift, double click. Got it. Okay, so now we have the variable set. It's pulling it from the weapon data table. Now all we have to do is go into the actual place where it plays the animation, which is in the simulate fire function. Simulate shooting, I think. Yeah, simulate shooting. Inside the simulate shooting function, there's a play animation montage here. Basically what we're going to do is we are going to put in a branch before this, and we're going to say, right click and say, is firing. And if you're firing, no, not firing, is aiming. What am I talking about? Is aiming. If you're aiming, then play, copy this node, copy the play in a montage. If you're aiming, then you want to play the new variable we made, ADS weapon fire animation, and then connect into the spawn emitter here. If false, you're going to play the hip fire animation, which is current weapon fire animation. Makes sense, right? Alright. So now we have two different animations. Now we have to go back into the weapon data table and we have to set these animations. So now we have a fire animation, which is the hip fire. We also have this one on the bottom for ADS weapon fire. And to make it easier, I'm going to come into the weapon info struct and move this up with the other one. That way we can see it. And you could do this with all the variables if you don't like the order that they're in. Maybe you want them closer, grouped up by, you know, what they are. So you can do this all you want. One more. There we go. Save it. So now they should be side by side. We have our shooting animation. Yeah, fire animation and ADS fire animation. Now, I think there's actually a ADS fire animation, but it's in the default animations, but I think I may have forgot to include it. But it's in the default animation pack by Epic Games. Fire rifle iron sights. We'll just drag it in. UE4 mannequin import. There we go. Play. There we go. See, that's the shooting animation for when you're aiming. So let's go ahead and right click this and create a new animation montage and open it up. And aim down sights, 0.1, set the blend in to 0.1, the blend out to 0.1. Gotta set it to upper body, drag this up into the game here. Alright, so now you can see I can shoot and it's got recoil. Right here, it's got recoil. And also the cool thing is like now the animations play in the direction you're looking. So if I look up and I reload, I'm still looking up. If I look down, I reload, I'm still looking down. Same with the shooting animation. If you look up and shoot, the animation plays while looking up. Yeah, it's just all around looks good. And the reason that you'll need this for the melee is if you want a melee weapon animation to play while you're looking up, you want it to play in the direction you're looking and not just play straight in front of you. Comes in handy if you're like wanting to say melee something on the ground and you go to melee it, but your guy only swings this way, but you're wanting to swing that way. So, gives you more input and direction on what you're actually aiming at. Alright, well I think that wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching, and you can, if you're watching the melee tutorials, you can pick right up on the next part.